How is arguably the best player in football not getting talked about? Well, I guess let's try and find out why people aren't talking about the absolute stud in Derrick Henry.
Here's Derrick Henry trying to get the big guy going, and he's going. And when I say going, he might go all the way.
Derrick Henry has arguably been the best running back in the league for the past few years, and is playing lights out this season. Although you would think that someone with his level of talent would be in the MVP talks year after year, it seems like the only award my man can get is the Offensive Player of the Year. Now I know the MVP award is pretty much quarterback only, but legends like Adrian Peterson, LT, and Shaun Alexander have all won it, and I would put Derrick on that kind of level. Each of the past 2 years, Derrick has led the NFL in rushing with over 1,500 in 2019 and 2,000 in 2020. If Derrick was able to get like 90 more yards and break Eric Dickerson's single season record, he probably would have been in contention for the award. And it really seems like it's the only way a running back can win one from now on. In a league with guys like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen, it's going to be nearly impossible to take home an MVP for Derrick. But that extra game this season may make it possible. Through 6 games, my man is nearly 800 yards and 10 touchdowns. A ridiculous start for someone who typically takes a bit to get going, and has him already on a historic pace. If he continues at this rate, Derrick would have over 2,200 yards and 28 touchdowns by the end of the year. If those aren't MVP numbers, then I don't know what is. That's the thing with anyone that isn't a quarterback. Since they aren't the main dude on the team, they have to do something out of the ordinary in order to win. And it's looking like Derrick is doing that this season. Not only is Derrick Henry leading the NFL in yards and touchdowns this year, but he has done it since 2019, and honestly seems to be in a league of his own. I know guys like CMC and Saquon have been injured throughout the past few seasons, but even then, Derrick has put up better pure running back stats than seemingly all of them. If CMC was completely healthy and doing his thing, then I could probably put him on a similar level, but his setbacks have prevented him from being up there with the king. Anyways, Derrick has been playing at a historic level for a decent bit of time now, and by putting up these numbers year after year, he has done something one of a kind, as even the GOAT running back Jim Brown couldn't match it. No matter what Derrick does, it seems to be all by himself, and that idea is reinforced when you look at the top rushing leaders this season. Although Nick Chubb missed last week due to injury, at his pace, he would still have 100 less yards than my man Derrick. When you compare this to the quarterback leaders, Brady is up just over 100 yards on everyone, which by itself is impressive, but is surprisingly enough less than the gap between Derrick and everyone else. If you think that is impressive, consider the difference in touchdowns, where Derrick is even more so in a league of his own with 10 touchdowns. Putting up that many touchdowns in only 6 games is insane, and is double that of anyone else. Crazy, right? Well, yeah, it is. But it is getting even more ridiculous when you compare his stats to NFL teams. Derrick alone has the 3rd most touchdowns among teams. Yeah, teams. And is only behind Cleveland and his own team. Who in the Flapjacks is doing this kind of stuff? And honestly, who really ever has? If anyone has done this kind of stuff before and not won the MVP, then that's wickety whack. Well, it turns out someone actually has, and his name is LaDainian Tomlinson. Back in 2005, my man rushed for 10 touchdowns in his first 6 games, and a year later, he not only won the MVP, but set a league record with 28 rushing touchdowns. If that's anything to go by, then Derrick has what it takes to make history, and it seems like he already has. Henry's 783 yards through 6 games is the 9th most in league history, and only 2 off his former teammate DeMarco Murray's 785 in 2014. Jim Brown might have blown that out of the water with his 931 nearly 60 years ago, but times were different back then, and in the modern NFL, this is pretty much an anomaly. In fact, Derrick and Eric are the only 2 players in NFL history to have over 750 yards and 10 touchdowns through the first 6 games ever. That's the thing with this. Although Derrick might not have the most yards or touchdowns throughout this time, the fact that he is able to do really well on both is the crazy part. Not only is Derrick just dominating rushing the ball, but his over 130 yards receiving throughout this time has him on pace to break Chris Johnson's single season yardage record by exactly 100. Although all this stuff is insane, Derrick is not new to playing on such a high level, and as I've mentioned before, he's been on the top for over 2 years. Not just at the top, but way above anyone else in not just yards, but touchdowns and also attempts. When you consider the fact that he has rushed many more times than anyone else, his stats are not as ridiculous. But I think more so, it's a testament to his work ethic and durability. He wouldn't be getting so many carries if he wasn't so good at doing what he does, and it's worked out pretty well so far. If he is able to continue his pace for the rest of the year, his over 5,700 yards rushing throughout the past 3 seasons would be the best ever. How does someone do this stuff and not lead the MVP race by a mile? Well, let's find out. Hey, by the way, if you're enjoying the video, it'd be awesome if you guys could subscribe. But anyways, back to the vid. Like I said before, the MVP race is pretty much a lock at quarterback. And in fact, Derrick isn't even in talks to win the award, and instead is a frontrunner for winning the Offensive Player of the Year award. At least it's something, I guess, but no one really cares about it at all, and it's about as much as any non-quarterback offensive player can win. Nonetheless, the fact that Derrick is a running back alone is why he's a step below all these top quarterbacks. If you're a borderline top 5 QB, then you're seen as higher than someone playing as well as Derrick, and I think that's ridiculous. Although a rough situation, there's nothing much really to do about this, and so Derrick will need to do some of that history thing that we've been talking about before he can be seen on the same level as these studs. Well, his play has seemed to put him on that level, and he even has an NFL legend in Brett Favre comparing him to one of the best players of all time. You would probably think it would be some great running back that played during the same time, like Barry or Emmett, but Brett thinks his best comparison is Randy Moss. A bit odd, but it's really just based off how dominant each of them can be, and how the only people that can stop them are themselves. Pretty high praise for someone who isn't even in the MVP race, but well worth it considering his level of talent. The unstoppable play throughout his career got Randy Moss into Canton, and I think it could take Derrick there also, but I don't know if it's enough to get him an MVP. Derrick can go out there and run all over one of the best defenses in the NFL in Buffalo, with nearly 150 yards and 3 touchdowns, and yet still not be in MVP contention. So it's looking like Derrick will have to put up one-of-a-kind numbers to be on that level, but I think he has what it takes. Anyways, what do you guys think of Derrick? Should he be in the MVP race, or is he just getting lucky early on? Derrick Henry is playing unlike anyone ever has, and although he might not get the attention he deserves, I doubt he cares all that much.
That's a great job of getting upfield, and you just see it. He just puts it right in the middle of the chest.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed, it would be awesome if you guys could subscribe, like, and comment down below what stuff you want next. But anyway, see you all soon, and peace out.